All right, hey everybody. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. So today I'm going to be shoeing Alice, and I wanted to take time and just show you all the differences in a horse and a mule's foot. I've got the video divided into different chapters so you can kind of skip around and find what you want to watch. I know it's a long video, so I wanted to do that for you all. And I just want to say thank you for allowing me in your time. And I hope you enjoy it. All right, now y'all, on this shoeing stock, these two chains here go over the top of her back. Now, if you had one that was wild and didn't want to be shod, this would be necessary. It really ain't necessary for me to put these on because, like I said, I use this stock just to hold their feet up. That's all I use it for. It's not for them to, use as a crutch to lay on or, try to subdue them, I guess you could say. So that's not what I'm using it for. But these chains has got to go somewhere because they can't be right here in my way, if that makes any sense. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put them on and I'm going to show y'all. I'll bring you right around here where you can see, hopefully, on this side. Let me set y'all right there. I'm going to bring them across the back and all that good mess. But when I hook them, I'm not going to hook them tight. I'm just going to hook them real loose. See, you got plenty of slack. So I'm going to hook these real loose. Again, this is the main thing is just getting them up out of my way. So I don't have to be fiddle farting around with a chain. And I definitely want to leave these belly bands pretty loose because I don't want her using it as a crutch to, to lay on while I'm shoeing her. So that makes it worse later if I had to shoe her on flat ground. Now, can I shoe her on flat ground? Of course. She's gentle enough, she's easy enough, knows how to handle her feet. And see, let me bring y'all right here. Y'all look right in there. Look how loose I've got it. See how loose it is? Now, if it was a wild mule and she was causing a lot of trouble, then I would tighten that up and keep her to where she couldn't get down. And, these back bands, I would tighten them up to where, that wouldn't be a problem. Now I'm gonna take y'all around here to the front. So these butt chains just keep them from backing out. And this is a Yoder's shoeing stock, come out of, let's see, I believe it was Ohio is where it come from. Made out of white oak. It's a good stout made shoeing stock. And I've got mine set up on skids down there, just old railroad cross ties. Now, we've got these chains right here that you can snap them on each side of her bit and her halter. See what I'm saying? You can put them right there. I don't really need them, so I don't use them. If she gets to swinging her head too much, and it becomes a problem, I'll use them. Now, one thing I do is I take my lead chain and I just toss it right up here and I snap it like that. And what that does is keeps her from getting her head down there too low. She'll put her head down and put all of her weight down sometimes. So this helps with that. But see, I'll give her enough slack where she can stand here. In fact, I'm gonna give her a little more slack. She's got enough slack where she can stand here comfortable. She's pretty good for the most part about her feet. When we first started, it was a little harder. And that's what the joy about this shoeing stock is. If you need to get one shot, and sometimes y'all, they're not gonna handle their feet good. They're just not. Even if you give them a dose of ACE, nerve calming medicine, sometimes they're just not gonna handle their feet just good, no matter what you do. And if you're out here working them, trying to break them and whatnot, and you got a time frame that you got to be on, you're actually working them for a living and not just playing with them, you got to do what you got to do to get them shod. Old fairies used to tie up a foot and throw them down on the ground. And I've seen them get them plumb upside down and just shoe them upside down. You know, have their feet tied all together and get them filed up and get the shoes on them. You know, that's just the way. I ain't saying there ain't a better way to go about it. Yeah, if you ain't in a hurry and you ain't working them and you ain't trying to make a living with them, you know, you could spend 30 or 60 days in a round pen and you could teach them how to pick up their feet and be gentle and all that mess. But sometimes you need to work them and get them broke to handle their feet. A sure enough renegade mule. And when that time comes, you need to just get shoes on. And the stock right here is good. If you can get them in here, you can shoe them. The biggest thing is getting them in here. But y'all seen how she went in a while ago. She's a good girl, and she's done this a lot. You know, I probably shot her, oh, I don't know, 7 or 8 times, maybe 10. You know, I'd say less than 10 times. So she's familiar with this shoeing stock. We spent a few hours in it. She knows what's up. All right. So the next thing I want to do, y'all, is I want to show y'all her feet and where they're at right now, and then what we need to do to correct them. Now, let's look at the front first. Let's just get right here and look at her front feet first, okay? Let me zoom in here. Now, her left foot over here, she threw a shoe. Back. I was lucky enough, I've got the shoe. And I think I'm going to just make a new pair of shoes for them today. They've had these shoes for the last couple sets. And some of the holes are getting wallered in the shoe. So it's about time for a new set. But here's what I want to show y'all. Get y'all down here right where you can see. Okay, for one thing, her toe on this side is too long. Now last time I got her foot just a little too short on this one. Okay, so I'm not going to do a whole lot to that foot. I might take just the tip of her toe off to stand her up. And I'm going to show y'all a side view here in just a second. But I wanted y'all to see that foot right there on the left side, her left, our right, she's without a shoe. Okay? And she's been without a shoe now for a couple weeks. And I've been saying, let me get y'all set up here so y'all can see. I've been saying I was going to fix it and wait for a rainy day and whatnot, and we just had this come up and that come up, and it's been a couple weeks and I hadn't got her shoe put back on. That's my fault. And they're overdue too. 8 to 10 weeks is a good shoeing cycle for mules. If they're, you know, if they don't have nothing wrong with their feet, if they got pretty good conformation and they grow out good and everything, 8 to 10 weeks is a good cycle to put them on. Right now they're probably like 12 and 14 weeks, just because I've had so much going on. I hadn't got around to doing it, and that's my fault, y'all. All right, now I'm gonna bring y'all over here. Let me back y'all out just a little. Now I'm gonna take a second and show you the side view. Let me lower you down just a little bit more. All right, ideally, if you can make it make sense, you want a straight line like that right there, from her pasturing joint down to her hoof. Right now, her heel is short and her toe is long. So what that's going to translate into is we're going to leave the heel and take some of the toe. Okay, y'all, so first thing we need to do is get her foot up. And again, this is what we use this for. Whoop, it's all right. All right, let me have it. I'll give her time and let her shift her weight and all that good mess. I don't get too carried away with trying to wrap her feet up and all that mess. But I do a lot of picking up and putting down while we're here. Let's see, where's my nail at? There we go. This is a clinch cutter, what I'm using here. Got to get these clinches turned back out. That'll be the first thing. There. Now I'm gonna just kind of clean her foot out with my clenching tool or clench remover tool. I'm just gonna kind of clean it out a little. The only good thing about all this rain we've had is the rain does kind of help soften their feet a little. She's got some thrush in her foot. Come here. The best thing I found for thrush, y'all, is what I'm doing right now. It's just opening it up, whoa, and cleaning that frog out. This guy ought to be opened up where it can get air to it. And again, they are overdue. If I would have been a little bit more timely in doing this, it wouldn't have been this bad. All right, now I got the frog clean where y'all can see it. Now I got this frog cleaned out where y'all can see it. I want to talk about some of the differences in a horse's and a mule's foot. The main thing, y'all, when you're trimming a horse or a mule is, you know, a mule's foot is going to be more stood up, upright, because of their shoulders. A mule's shoulders are more stood up, whereas a horse is more laid back. Their hoof angles, their pastern angles going down to their foot is going to be more stood up. That straight edge, remember? But the way you can get it pretty close, y'all, is by following her frog. When you got a good, fresh, clean frog that's been trimmed, if you can match the back of her foot to the front of her foot in relation to the frog, you'll get it pretty close, okay? So, I'm gonna bring y'all in and just kind of let y'all see a little closer angle of her foot here. Let me have it back there, Alice. There you go. Now, I don't know how good I'll be able to show you here to the side. You know, she's got a deep foot. See how much heel she's got? That's good. We want her to have plenty of heel. So that's a good situation. I'm not going to try to take off much heel. In fact, you know, I'm going to leave as much heel as I can. Now, get y'all set right back there. So, now, the frog is trimmed. It ain't, you know, it ain't perfect. It could be a little bit better. Have your foot back. You know, it could be a little bit better. Cut a little more of this thrush out. There we go. Now we're getting back into some good healthy frog. Alrighty. Pare some of this sole out. Come here now. Your sole kind of tells you a lot about how much depth of foot you got too. But, you know, you want to maintain that concavity, you know, that dish. You want to maintain that dish in there. You don't want to get their feet too short like I did her on the last time on that one over there. And it's real easy to do, y'all, because you can, you know, get in there and start cutting too much, and before you know it, you done took off too much. So, but what I'm gonna do on this deal, I'm gonna take some of her toe off and then set her down and look at her. And that may take me 2 or 3 times of doing that, but then that way we guarantee we get it right. Okay, so I had to change my rope a little bit, get her where she'd hold her foot over there for me. And as I come around on the side, I'm just going to kind of work my way out of her foot. Because remember, we just want to take the toe off. We don't want to take much of the heel. Now, I do kind of want to look at it all along and make sure I've got it a little wet now. Hey, what are you doing? I want to make sure I got it level side to side. And while I'm at it, I'm gonna just go ahead and dress her up with a file and get her foot kind of halfway flat. This outside needs to come down a little more. Now, and if you put them on regular shoeing cycles, y'all, their feet won't get overgrown so bad, and you won't have to fight it near as much. Won't be so much have to come off. I am a fan of regular shoeing cycles. And some need to be trimmed a little sooner than others. All right. Now let me take a look here. Now let's just set her down and give her a break, and let's look at her angle and just see how close it is. I'll take this off so y'all can actually see it. Okay, now now let's check it again. Looks like just a little bit more. We'll get that hoof angle stood straight, you know, with it. Just a tad more on the toe. And you know, using the straight edge like that is a good way to get them, you know, get them right. Okay, so it looks like we need to take just a little bit more off of her toe. That straight edge is a good way to sit, you know, until you get a good eye for it, to where you can really pick up on it. And most farriers that do this every day for a living, let me have it. Give it to me. Quit acting up now. Most farriers that do this for a living, y'all, they can look at it and tell exactly what a foot needs. But until you can, you know, this is a good way to do it. She ain't gonna cooperate as good as I want her to. So we'll just leave it like that. And one reason why she don't want to cooperate as good, because this is a wide stock, so she has to come over to this side. You know, this stock's built for a big old 2,500 pound draft horse, and it's a lot wider than my mules are. So what she has to do is stay over to this side when I'm on this foot, stay over to that side when I'm on that foot. If that makes any sense. Otherwise, it'd have her all bowed out. Okay, now let's take a little more off the toe. Now I need to see what it looks like side to side in relation to her frog. Because I definitely don't want to get her off. I don't want to get her off none. Let's see. Get my hoof knife here. And you always want to trim this sole, you know, down a little. You don't want no sole pressure, because that'll cause them to be sore. So that little sole right there around the hoof wall, you want to knock that down a little. You don't want that, when we put that shoe on, you don't want that shoe putting sole pressure on. She's really close. I don't want to wear out too much sole. The more sole they got down here on the bottom of their foot, the better. All right, that ain't bad. That's pretty good. I just want to stress to you, I'm not a certified farrier. I'm just a guy that owns mules and horses that's shot a bunch of them over the years, and done my own trimming and my own feet. I've learned a lot from other farriers, you know, that's helped me along my way and kind of learned how to shoe. This is not a video for intent and purposes for you to shoe your own mules. This is just an intent and purposes to show you about a mule and what the differences are. All right, so let's set her down. All right, I'm gonna take this back off so y'all can actually see her foot. Quit now, be a little bit more cooperative. I ain't wanting you to pick your foot up. And I don't usually take this off while I'm working her. I just leave it on there, but since y'all are here, I'm gonna take it off where y'all can see. All right, let me get y'all down here where you can see. here's my straight edge. Let me move y'all in just a little. I want y'all to get a good view right here what I'm trying to do. Let's see. All right, from the pastern bone to the foot. Now you see how that hoof wall lines up real close now. See what I'm saying? I might could go just a tad bit more, but y'all see that line that I'm talking about, her hoof wall over here? It lines up with that. Now that foot's gonna be balanced. She's gonna hit the ground flat when she walks. Okay? Now let's go around here and see if we got the side to side deal right. Let's just look and see. Okay. There's her leg, and she's standing pretty square. If anything, and I mean you'd have to be real picky, if anything, she's a little high on the outside. Or excuse me, a little low on the outside. So that would mean her inside would need to come down just a little. So I might have took off just a little much. If you look at her cornet band there, right here, you know, it's kind of laying downhill just a tad, but it ain't a whole lot. And if you look at her whole hoof, up and down on each side compared to her joint, that's another way to tell. So let's take off just a little bit on the inside, not much, and see if that might not help her stand up straight. Now I want to do this right, y'all. I want y'all to see it, and let's get it right, 100%. That way we know we got it right. And a horse, y'all, ain't no different. You do the same thing with a horse. It's just the differences in their angles. You know, you can still use a straight edge on a horse and get their pastern angles right. It's just their pastern angles are going to be a little bit flatter versus more stood up. All right, come here. Give it to me. And you got to get over. All right, so it wouldn't hurt us to take a little bit off anyway, because that inside hoof is a little bit weak, kind of thin. So it ain't gonna be too bad of a deal to take a little off. I'm gonna hit her toe just a tad while we're here. And like I said, y'all, a full-time farrier that does this every day, shoot, he be done had his shoe nailed on by now. But I'm taking my time to show y'all. I want y'all to see it. You know, we'll do a front foot and then do a hind, kind of show you the differences, you know, in both feet. And then that way y'all can have a good understanding of what's going on. All right, let me take this thing back off again. And again, I'm doing this for y'all's benefit, not mine. Because I want you to see. Here, let me have your foot. There you go. All right. Now, yeah, she's got to stand kind of natural, because if she don't, you won't be able to see the angle. Okay, so let's check her one more time. All right, that's pretty good right there. We're close, real close. Okay, now let's look at her from the front. All right, that's a lot better. See how our hoof wall, hoof capsule, you know, side right over here to right over here. See, it's not cocked. with her foot. In other words, that right there. See how her bone is straight down through her foot? All right, so y'all, now that we've got her foot trimmed properly, and we've got her heel to toe relationship in good shape, we've got her side to side, medial and laterally, her medial lateral dimension inside to outside is good. Her frog is good and trimmed. We've done away with some thrush that was there. You don't want to get them unbalanced, y'all, because it'll put pressure on her hoof or her cornet band. You can tell a horse or a mule that's went a long time with an improper trim because her hairline will, dart up or come down. If it's a nice round hairline all the way around their foot, their foot's pretty good shape. So now that we've got her in pretty good shape, now it's time to fit a shoe. And I hot shoe. You have to be careful hot shoeing, especially if you trim them and get them just right, because hot shoeing will actually take some of their foot off. But the idea behind hot shoeing is, if you'll leave their foot just a little long, and when I say a little, I mean like a 1/16. If you'll leave it just a little bit long, you can burn that shoe on, and it'll create a good solid flat surface for your shoe to sit, and you'll get a real good set that way. That is if your shoe is flat. And as I'm making these shoes on the anvil, y'all see what I'm talking about. Whenever we're done, that shoe needs to be completely flat, and that way whenever you burn it on her foot, it'll burn flat, and you'll get a good solid flat surface. Now you can do it cold. You can put it on cold as long as you've got a good flat surface with the file. And I don't see no gaps around her foot in the floor here, so her foot's pretty flat. Looking at it from the top, and that file usually does a pretty good job of getting it flat. Okay, y'all. So there's what it looks like with a shoe on. She's level side to side. Now let's go back and look at this angle again. She's pretty doggone close, wouldn't y'all say? I mean, pretty close. Not perfect. Nobody's perfect but Jesus. But she's close. And that's what we're looking for. So y'all, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and trim this other front foot and get it shod. And again, it's the one that was missing the shoe. All I'm gonna do with it is probably just take off just a tad bit of toe to get it back, get that angle right. I'm gonna take very minimum off of that foot, very little. Okay, and get the shoe on that one. And then after I get the shoe on that foot, I'll bring y'all along for the back foot. Ain't a lot of difference, and I'm not gonna spend a lot of time as I did on the front foot, because a lot of the process is the same. As far as shaping and trimming and all that mess, you go through the same process. I just wanted to show you all the basics of the differences in a horse and a mule's foot. A mule's more stood up. You can look at her shoulders right there. A mule's shoulders is more straight up and down. Their angles on their legs is more straight up and down. They get that from a jack, the donkey. And some horses will have, or some mules, will have more of a horse foot, and some mules will have more of a donkey foot. But if you'll go by that angle thing I showed you, you'll get it right every time. Same thing with a horse. You'll get a horse's foot right every time if you match them angles. Them angles is what matters. That'll keep them comfortable. It'll keep them hitting the ground right. Main thing is, don't take off too much, because if you take off too much, they're going to be sore, y'all. They'll be sore. If you get them down into that sensitive material under that sole, get that sole pared out too much, you'll get them too soft. And draft horses don't have a lot of sole anyway. They got a real flat foot on the bottom, and it's real easy to get them too short. Real easy. Anyway, so y'all stick around here and we'll do the back. There's not a whole lot of difference, y'all, in the fronts and the backs. It's the same process. You pull the shoe off, you trim the frog up, pare the sole out, take your hoof nippers, go around and trim off what foot needs to come off, and then After you get that done, clean the foot up, make sure it's level, make sure your straight edge runs from the passenger joint through the foot. Make sure it's level side to side. If you got it good and balanced, good and level, straight, then the next thing is going to be putting the shoe on. So here, let's see, this is an alt mule and this is an alt horse. Okay, so let me put these up here where y'all can see them. See the difference? You see how the mule's outside branches are more straighter, where the horse, this is a horse, this is a mule. The horse right here is more rounded. Got a more rounded foot. Let me check, make sure y'all can see that. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so the mule is got more straighter or more upright type foot, whereas a horse has got more of a rounded foot, and when it's on the foot kind of slopes up like this a lot more. It slopes back and up on the sides. A mule foot is more straight up and down all the way around. That's one reason why it's harder to drive nails in a mule foot and get them consistent every single time, because it's more straight up and down, and your nails will just tend to go straight in instead of popping out. Whereas a horse, you can get your aiming, you know, you can use your ring finger to put on the outside of their foot, and when you drive it in, you can aim toward the tip of your finger and make it pop out. It's a little harder to do that on a mule. I ain't saying you can't, but it's just harder. So that's the biggest difference in a mule and a horse's foot, right there. That's just the basic shapes. I will put in a front and hind mule, her feet. I'll take pictures and post that in there so you can see the difference in her front and her hind. Now here, this was on Ruby, one of my draft mares I owned. This was a front shoe for Ruby. And let me see, this is a, wait a minute, no, that's a hind shoe. Okay, so you can see the differences in the size from a draft horse to a draft mule. Of course, Ruby was a big mare. She was 22,000, 2,100. She was big. And this is, this shoe right here, this one, is a front, and this one on this side is a hind. And a front shoe will always be more rounded inside of here. It'll be more rounded type design. And your outside branch will usually be a little bit longer and a little more fuller. Whereas on a hind shoe, it'll be a little more straighter branch on the outsides and then curve in. And you'll have a little bit different shape. Let me put them up here together. I don't know, y'all probably won't be able to see it like that, but anyway, you get the idea. This is a front, this is a hind. Yeah, let me make sure I'm telling y'all right. Let me check it one more time. I just want to be sure I'm telling you right. Yeah, okay. So, yeah. Front, right here, and a hind. A hind to have a little bit sharper toe and a little straighter branches on the outside. Whereas a front will have a little more rounded toe and a little more rounded outside. Now that's a draft horse. And you can see, the differences in my mule shoes versus this draft mare. The draft horse got a lot bigger foot, a lot bigger. They're a lot harder to shoe too. I think one of these shoes right here costs like $4, $3.50, $4, maybe $5 now. One of those draft shoes right there is like 10, 15 bucks. You know, so there's quite a bit of difference. Of course, there's a lot more metal in it, so it stands to reason why it would cost more. But that's one of the drawbacks to owning draft horses versus mules, is it costs more to shoe them, for sure. And they're harder to shoe because it's heavier, everything's bigger. You know, it takes a lot longer and whatnot. Getting somebody to shoe draft horses is hard. That's one reason why I shoe my own. If you're close to the Amish, a lot of times you can get the Amish to do it, but A lot of farriers don't like fooling with draft horses because they lean on you and everything. It's rough, hard work, hardest work I ever done, no doubt about it. But I'm gonna move y'all right here, and probably what I'll do, y'all, is just get the shoe off. I'll trim it. You know, y'all can see what it looks like right now. See how long it is? She got a long foot, so I'm gonna have to trim off a good bit. So probably what I'll do, y'all, is just set y'all up right here, and I'll go ahead and pull the shoe and get her foot trimmed. And to save time on the video and time on the battery, I'll come back with y'all after I get the foot trimmed and let you see it before I nail the shoe on, right before we do that, since y'all have already seen the trimming process and the nailing, you know, all that good stuff. I'll bring you back right before we nail the shoe on. All right, y'all. Now I've got it trimmed. I've got her frog cleaned out. It has some thrush in it, naturally. But I've got it all cleaned up and I've got it flat for the most part. We'll burn the shoe on and make it get flat the rest of the way. All right, y'all. Now y'all can see this shoe ain't red hot, but it is hot. It's not red hot, but it's hot. And this is actually gonna trim the foot, y'all. This is actually gonna burn down the foot just a little bit and get the high and low spots evened up. Before anybody asks, no, it does not hurt the mule. They can't feel it because it's on this horn material. See how it's burnt right here? See how it's burnt here and here, but not on the toe? See it? Oh, man. See how it's coming together? See there? Can y'all see that? All right, we got a good solid burn all the way around. The foot is good and flat now. That is if you got your shoe flat. Now that shoe, y'all look at it there. It looks good to me. Y'all look at it there and see what y'all think. Let me get around here where I can see what y'all see. See right there? It's straight. If you're going to hot shoe, it's most important that, for one, you don't take off too much of the foot whenever you trim them, because you got to leave some to trim with the shoe. And then the second thing is that shoe's got to be flat, because if it's crooked, you're going to burn the foot crooked. Does that make sense? Now, after we burnt this foot on our shoe, there's some sole right here that needs to be relieved. See what I mean? We don't want that sole touching the inside of that shoe. That get her sore. She won't be able to put too much sole pressure on her and get her sore. All right, now see, we got a good burn. It's good and flat. Perfect. Make a good place for that shoe to fit. It didn't hurt her. She's in good shape. All right, guys. So I've got her shoe made. We've got the Drill Tech on it. We've got it fitted good. Got a good fit. Got a nice level shoe. her foot's nice and level, so now it's time to nail it on. Now again, y'all, I could do this just how, you know, when I hot fitted her, I just picked her foot up. I could do it like that and nail this shoe on. It's a little more dangerous because if she rips her foot away from me, it could cut my thigh open. We're here in the stock, why not use it for its intended purposes? But I just wanted to show y'all that if I had to, I could shoe her on flat ground. A stock is not a replacement for training an animal to pick up their feet. But if you're like me and you don't do this a whole lot, and you're not in really good shape to do it, or you're not good at nailing like I am, like I ain't, is what I meant to say, then this helps give you time to get your nails right a little bit better. Plus, if something were to happen and she pulls her foot away, it's not going to cut your leg open. So, she's comfortable, I'm comfortable. Let's quit messing around and get your shoe on. Now, I'm going to bring y'all right in here and let you see how I do these nails. Get y'all up close right there. Take my nail cutters and now them things right there go through your leg if you was, you know, holding them. You know what I'm saying? If you was holding her leg like you normally would shoe, them things that go through your leg. Of course, you can wring them off every time you drive one, and that helps too. Hey, there we go. Now, take my clinch block and get these started. Now, move y'all back around to this side. Maybe you can see a little better on this side. All right. Now, these are clinchers. Let me move y'all over here just a little. Whoa, now, whoa. She may have to use the bathroom. A lot of times they'll get antsy when they have to go. I don't blame them. I get antsy when I have to go. Now, all right, now let's just kind of clean things up a little bit and dress her foot and we'll be done. Whoa, come here. I didn't get it quite on the outside as much as I needed to, and she had a little bit of a flare. So just knock that off with a file. That'll make it look good, and everything will work out. Now the next step's I'm gonna bring her foot forward, and I'm gonna file the nails down a little bit. Now, it's just an old rasp that I reuse for something different, kind of repurpose it. toe up while I'm here. Didn't have to do very much. Make the shoe fit the, you make the shoe fit the mule, not the mule fit the shoe, if that makes sense. Now I had to get all them rough edges off in case they catch their foot on something. Also, it'll thin out this clinch just a little bit. If something were bad to happen, if she got hung some kind of which way with her shoe, it would pull through instead of ripping the hoof wall off, if that makes sense. All right, let's let her down and give her a look. All right. Now, one thing you'll probably notice, let me see here. One thing you'll probably notice is her back feet compared to her front. Look at the angle differences in them. Her back feet are just a little bit straighter up and down, where her front feet, let me get down here where y'all can really see. I want y'all to pick up on this. This is the idea of the video anyway. All right, see how her front feet are? All right, now let's go back here and look at her back feet. Let me get this out of your way so you can see. See how it's more straight? You know, going up and down. It's a little more straighter, stood up more in the back. Let me show you one more time. And it's a subtle thing, y'all. It's hard to see. I mean, you kind of got to have done it a little while and have been around them to really see it. She's trimmed. She's in a better place with her feet. Now, she's more balanced, which is what we was after. This left foot's going to have to grow a little more. On the next cycle, I ought to be able to trim her back to where she's square all the way around. And that was my fault on the last trimming because I just got a little too much, got a little carried away, and got her a little too short. So she didn't get sore or anything, but I just got her foot too short, shorter than it needed to be, and got her ankles a little off. Now she's back to, her ankles is about right. Her foot just needs to grow out a little bit. So we're in good shape on that. And on the next shoeing, we'll take care of it and get it just right. Then all of her feet will be dead even, and she'll be 100%. But you know what's got to make them feel better, y'all? When you get them balanced, it'd be like us wearing a pair of shoes that didn't fit, or shoes with too much heel or not enough heel. You know what I'm saying? Some of you ladies wear high heels. I don't know how in the world you do it. You know, having your foot stood up like that all day. I'm kind of flat-footed myself. But I hope y'all have enjoyed this video. I know it's kind of long. I apologize, but I did kind of want to go through and show y'all the whole 9 yards, not just skipping around here and there. I wanted to show you, you know, the whole 9 yards behind shoeing and what goes into it. This is hard work. This is probably the hardest work I have to do in the mule logging and horse logging operation part of my day-to-day deal. This is the hardest work, definitely. Hard on your back, hard on your hands. It's hard work. And all y'all farriers out there, if y'all watching, I respect you. You got my respect, no doubt about it. And all y'all that's got horses and mules, if you got a good farrier and does you a good job, you need to take care of him. No doubt about it, because he takes care of the animals. Make sure they stay sound. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. I pray that the Lord blesses each and every one of you. Again, I'm going to put my email on the screen. Anybody need to get up with me, shoot me an email. If we have to, I'll call you, you call me. We'll do whatever we need to do. And I'll see you next time. Take care and have a good one.